Hey there guys, welcome to Electric Bike Report. My name's Kristen. Today we're going to take a look at the Euphree City Robin bike. So it comes in different color options. You've got the nice white or the crisp pink. There's also a black model, and it's very comfortable, kind of a commuter, sort of more of a relaxed geometry. It's got really good power though, and impressive specs and features that make it very comfortable. So let's dive in and take a closer look at all this bike has to offer. So one thing I really like about the Euphree bike is it has been designed to be very comfortable and easy to use. You've got that drop down tube, an easy step over height, and it's not specifically targeted only for women, but it does work really well for petite riders. It's easy to handle. You've got a really nice geometry as far as the swept back handlebars. They're not too wide, they're not too narrow, and it has some good power. So it's not designed to just be a slow, methodical kind of cruiser. You got a lot of zip on this bike. So it's well suited for college students, people who want to commute, ride around town, and even just recreational riding where you want a little added power in the bike. One thing I will say about the Euphree bike is this has an impressive amount of power. So you have a rear hub motor, it's a Bafang 500 watts, brushless, it's pretty quiet. But I've ridden this bike extensively around town. We've done range tests on it, and it really does have a lot of kick. You got some nice zip in there, and you can really get up to speed quickly if you want to, or you can kind of moderate it a touch if you want to as well. So we're going to give it a run through and do a hill test here, both in pedal assist and using throttle only, to see how it performs. So as you can see, this has really good speed going up that hill. With both the pedal assist and throttle, I felt like I had a lot of power underneath me. And it's one thing I really like, especially when you're headed up a hill. You're not going to be sweaty when you get to the top. This has a lot of power. So our first test that we did was the throttle test. And as you can see, even hanging onto the throttle all the way up there, I never dropped below 13 miles an hour. So I was able to hang on to a really good base speed and made it to the top in about 1 minute and 26 seconds. I think my average speed was about 14.2. So that's really pretty impressive comparatively. Pedal assist level 5 was very similar, just a touch faster. I wasn't pedaling too hard. I wouldn't say I had too much torque, but just kind of keeping a nice even cadence. I was able to get to the top in about 1 minute and 15 seconds, and my average speed was about 16.3. So just a little faster with that pedal assist, and not really having to pedal that hard. And that's the thing that I liked. You do have 7 gears on the Euphree, which makes it so that if you are headed uphill, or if you're maybe riding in a low mode and you want to add a little more rider power, you've got the option to adjust the gears to give yourself either more or less torque. As I headed up the hill, I did adjust the gearing just a little bit to make it a little easier to pedal, which helped me maintain that nice steady cadence. You have a real simple Sunrace derailleur on here, and you've got 7 speeds. So you do have kind of just a nice little range in there if you want to use it. The battery is tucked up in the down tube, which creates a really nice streamlined look. So you've got the nice paint. The battery isn't this big black part that's right on the front of your bike. It does lock for security, so you can take it off the bike to charge it. You can charge it right on the bike. There's a port right on the left side, which is convenient. If you keep your charger in the garage, you can charge it out there, or you can take the battery inside and charge it if that's preferable. But I do like how it's just kind of integrated into the frame. You also have all your cables and stuff that are integrated into the frame for a nice clean look up here at the front. And this battery, it's a Samsung's lithium-ion battery, so you got 14 amp hours on there, so you'll be able to go quite a distance, and it's about 48 watts. So pretty good range and power on that battery. We tested this in a class 3, which goes up to 28 miles an hour. And it was able to go about 30 miles using max pedal assist. So when we turned that pedal assist all the way up, rode hard, we still got 30 miles out of it, which is really pretty impressive. If you do it a little slower, maybe a lower pedal assist, and adjust those settings down to class 2, you can get upwards of 60 miles on that range. So a lot of power and range with your battery. So taking a look at your your cockpit layout, for someone my size, this is absolutely perfect. I love the swept back handlebars, but they're not so extreme that I'm riding out here. I've actually ridden bikes where the handlebars come back so far that they hurt my wrists. This to me is perfect. You've got nice ergonomic grips with just that leather stitching, which I think is a really nice touch. And the way that there's just a little bit of a rise, just kind of elevates your shoulders, keeps your torso up, so it's easy to breathe, it's easy to see. You can see you've got your brakes on both hands, both sides. These are just Gemma hydraulic disc brakes, and you do have your controls for your shifters down here. So you got your shifters, it'll adjust your brakes. Your shifting window is up here at the top, so I can easily see which gear I'm in. To adjust the gears, you've got two different little levers here. So I've got one that's lower, one that's higher, and then I can shift the gears up or down depending on what I need. Over here on the left, you have the controls for your display system, and you also have the thumb throttle. And the throttle is really easy. I don't have to rotate my hand. I can just leave it right there on the grip and adjust the throttle, kick it in when I need it and let go when I don't. And then your control for your display right here, to turn it on, you hold down the M, and that will turn it on and off. And I do like that you have a 10 battery power bar there at the top, so it really breaks that battery power down by tenths. Your speed is easy to see, and your pedal assist levels are down here. So if I want to adjust that pedal assist level, I just hit the up arrow and it will take my pedal assist up, or I can take it back down, and you do have pedal assist in 0, which basically means that you're just working in manual mode. And that's when the gears come in handy. If you want to save your battery power, kind of extend your range, you can drop the pedal assist completely off and use those gears as needed. You do have integrated lights, so if I want to turn the lights on, I just hold the up arrow. You can see how the light symbol comes on, and then I can turn them off just as easily. Down here at the bottom, you have your odometer, and then I do have a walk mode. So if I hold the down arrow, and I got to be careful because the bike will lurch forward, but you can see how that walk just kind of comes on right there. And if you hold down that arrow, then the motor will provide just a little bit of support. Maybe if you're walking across the street, trying to get it out of the garage, something like that, you don't have to hold down the throttle, which has more power. You do kind of have that walk mode there. And if I want to do more settings, I can hold down both the up and the down arrow, and then I can come in here and customize things as needed. So I can adjust for my wheel size, I can adjust my top speed, basically adjust which class I'm setting the bike in, and check my overall odometer for total miles and things like that. So at Electric Bike Report, we put all of our bikes through a circuit test. And what that is it's a 1 mile loop that we take every bike on, and we test each level of assist. We test how long it takes us to complete that lap, what the average speed is, what the top speed is, just to kind of assess how each bike performs at different assist levels. Now, interestingly, one thing about the Euphree bikes is that you have an option. You can choose, depending on the software package that you opt for, either a little more power on the front end, where you get up to speed really quickly in those lower modes, or more of a graded increase. And it's just kind of dependent on how you like to ride. So for riders who want a little more get up and go, where you got a lot more speed in, modes 2 and 3, you will want to opt for that slightly more powerful package. The top speed for both remains the same. So in class 2, your top speed is right around 20 miles an hour, and in class 3, that top speed is going to be 28 miles an hour. However, it's how the assist levels are broken up within each mode. So the more powerful one, as I mentioned, and you'll be able to see right there, you've got more power in those lower modes. So there's not much of a difference between mode 2 and 3. It's just dependent on how much torque you put on those pedals. You can really increase that speed dependent on rider power. Whereas you'll notice on the other one, you've got a little more of just a gradual increase. Each time you add another pedal assist mode, it's going to kick you up 2 to 3 miles an hour for just more of a moderate graded increase. They both feel great. Personally, I like the little speedy, zippy option. For me, that's kind of fun. But my reviewing partner, who also tested out this bike, she actually preferred the more graded increase. So it's just kind of based on rider preference. And then once you are kind of where you want in those modes, it will hold you there nice and comfortably with the throttle or pedal assist until you get to where you're going. All right, so up next, we're gonna put the City Robin to our brake test. Now this bike, you can modify the classes on it. So if you want class 1, just disengage that throttle. For class 2, you'll hold that max speed at 20 miles an hour. And for class 3, you can adjust the max speed up to 28 miles an hour. Now because this has a really powerful motor and a lot of speed, especially in those lower modes, if you calibrate it that way, we want to evaluate the testing capacity of the brakes. So we're going to put this through a series of 5 tests and estimate, or I'm sorry, we're going to put this through a series of 5 tests and then average out how long it takes the bike to stop to give you a rough idea of the power of the brakes. All right, so we just did our brake test on the City Robin, and most of the components on this bike are really high end and I'm really impressed with. However, the brakes are just a little soft. So we did 5 tests and we got our speed up to 20 miles an hour, and then I braked at the first cone and measured how many feet it took for the bike to come to a complete stop. We measured from the front axle, so that includes the bike length. And as you can see, I've got a couple skid marks here, so we kind of ended up right about this spot. And our average of those 5 tests was 17 feet 6 inches. That's about how long it took the bike to come to a complete stop. So that's a little on the longer side as far as distance that it takes for that bike to stop. These are 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, Gemma brand, so they're fine, but I wouldn't describe them as overly strong. But they also don't stop so fast that you feel like you're going to go over the top of the bike. So that's a nice feature as far as just kind of a gentle stopping power. In general, the bike feels very controllable and has good handling, but those are kind of the results of our brake test. So the Euphree City Robin really handles really well. I am actually quite comfortable on this bike. And I've tested a lot of e-bikes, and specifically this kind of style of bike where you're kind of looking at a cross between a recreational bike and a cruiser and a commuter bike. It kind of incorporates features, the best features of each. So one thing that I love about this bike is it is not too big. I will occasionally get on something that's called a beach cruiser and find that it is just oversized for me. The handlebars are too wide, the frame is really quite heavy, and the step over height can make it difficult when you have to stop quickly at a stoplight or a stop sign or an intersection, something like that. With the Euphree City Robin, your step over height is only 16 inches. So it's really easy to just drop a foot if you have to stop really quickly at an intersection. You don't have to navigate a lot of height in there, and it's easy to get on and off. This clean top tube really makes a nice difference. And I love the gentle rise swept back handlebars. They're easy to hold and they're just the right position. I can sit up straight, I'm comfortable, I can see and breathe easily while I ride. And I really feel like Euphree has gone out of their way to make sure that all the components that you need are already incorporated onto the bike. So you don't have to, you're not getting upcharged on everything. The Sun Tour suspension seat post is included standard. So that comes on every bike, and it really does make a difference when you're riding. It's quite comfortable. Little bumps and stuff just get absorbed and you don't even feel them. I also like the quick release seat post. So at any point I can adjust that seat. If you have different sized riders out with you, or if it's just a little high that day, you can adjust it just with a quick stop and then get going again. It doesn't require a tool. The rear rack does come standard, and it will support up to 55 pounds, so you got that option as well. And both your front and your rear lights are integrated. So they run off battery power. You don't have to charge them separately or have a battery that you have to worry about. It does have the walk feature, which I like, so you push that down arrow and just walk when you need to. And I just kind of feel like they've thought about all the things that you would want in a comfortable, manageable bike. It's not too big. I always feel like I'm riding the bike, not the bike is riding me. And to me, that makes a difference. Another thing that I love is you do have the front and rear fenders that are both standard. So that comes with the bike. It does make a difference when you're riding to have those fenders. It really keeps you cleaner. And you've got real nice Schwalbe Big Bend tires on this. So 27.5 inch wheels on that, which is really perfect for a rider my size. It lifts you up just enough, but not so high that you feel kind of unstable. And I love the power. So the handling, you've got those two different power packages you can choose, where you got more power up front, speed in those lower modes, or just more of kind of a graded gradual increase depending on your riding preference. So you can kind of customize it how you like when you first order your bike, which is nice. And the Velo Gel saddle feels comfortable as you ride. So just a lot of things that I really appreciate about the way Euphree has thought through this bike and designed it really well. There were only a few things that I kind of thought could maybe use a tweak or two. One is they do have the option, so you can see up here, you can mount a front rack on there. It's not a full basket, but it's kind of like this where you've got that grating, and so it goes right there and doesn't impede on these cables. But there really is nowhere to put a water bottle. So when I'm riding just out on the, on a regular day, usually I like to have a water bottle with me. And I found several times when I was riding this bike, there's no bosses on the down tube and there's really no place to put a water bottle. So for me, that was one thing that would make it more convenient. The brakes are a little soft. So that was another thing I had to be careful, moderate that speed appropriately because the brakes are just a touch soft. And it is nice to have gears because if you're going to ride in a manual mode or headed up a hill, the gears are nice. But they also add just a little bit of weight, and sometimes they can be a little clunky if you're shifting when you got high torque on those pedals. So just a few things to be aware of. In general, we're really impressed with this bike, and it's been fun to test out and ride. My name's Kristen with Electric Bike Report, and if you liked our video, make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. As always, you can click the link below for current pricing and information about the Euphree bike. And check us out at Electric Bike Report for updated reviews, other content, and e-bike information. I'll see you again soon.